Elitch Gardens is Colorado's largest amusement park. Located in downtown Denver, this park boasts a collection of 35 different rides. And today, we are going to rank them all. But before we get into it, I do want to mention that some of the rides on this list I have not been on yet, but I have been on similar rides elsewhere, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so we got a bunch of kids' rides to start off the list, so we'll try to move through these quite quickly. So, number 35 is Sunflower Swings, a Zamperla mini swing, and it kind of looks like I could walk faster than this ride, but I guess kids like it. Number 34 is Ding Dong Dock, and again, I think I could walk faster than this ride, but this one has water and a lighthouse, so that's pretty cool. Number 33 is Mike's Bikes, finally something that goes a little bit faster. It also tilts and has an airtime hill. 32 is Kid Spin, which is literally a small teacup ride, but teacups are awesome, so it's pretty good. Next we got Crazy Bus, a Zamperla Crazy Bus, and I guess these are kind of cool, but still a kiddie ride. 30 is Big Al's Trucking Co., a Zamperla convoy, and it seems as though kids like to drive semi-trucks. But you know what is better than trucks? Trains. So at number 29 we got EG Express, a Zamperla Rio Grande train, and it is pretty much the exact same ride as the last, but it is a train, and trains are awesome. 28 is Jumping Jack, a small drop tower, and the theming is really cool, and it achieves just a little bit of airtime, so that's nice. 27 is Mouse House, a Zamperla mini bumper car, and bumper cars are always a blast, but unfortunately these ones are mini, so adults can't ride. 26 is Carousel. Now everyone and their grandma has been on a carousel, and they're fine rides, but nothing special. 25 is Balloon Race, a Zamperla Samba balloon, and this ride is the full package, especially for how small it is. It looks really nice from the main pathway looking over the trees. You can also spin the tubs for a variable ride experience. So for a kid's ride, it's almost perfect. Next up at number 24, we got Rock and Tug, and yes, this is a regular Zamperla Rock and Tug. But they are pretty good rides, and definitely the best kids ride in the park. Now, finally, we move away from kids rides into number 23, which is Dragon Wing, a Chance Aviator, and this ride has a really cool idea behind it. Move the wings and swing out or in. But, sadly, it goes way too slow to do anything, so it just turns into a regular swing ride that runs really slow. 22 is Sea Dragon, a Chance Sea Dragon, and this is a really common model of pirate ship, and it's fun, but it doesn't deliver as much airtime as it should. Number 21 is also another ride manufactured by Chance, Big Wheel, and this is one of the best Ferris wheels I've ever been on. It runs pretty fast, and the view at the top is spectacular of the downtown Denver skyline and the Rocky Mountains. Number 20 is Teacups, a Zamperla teacup ride, and this specific one is pretty easy to spin, so you can get pretty dizzy on this one, but for me personally, it doesn't deliver any unique forces, so it lands at number 20. Number 19 is Blazin' Buckaroo, a E&F Mylar children's coaster. Until recently, adults could not ride without a kid, but sometime in 2023 they changed that policy, so now everyone can ride, and it is actually really fun. If you're in the front or back, the airtime hill provides some pretty good airtime, and the laterals on the helix are pretty enjoyable, so all in all, an awesome kids coaster. 18 is Turn of the Century, a rare Vekoma wave swinger. There might be more, but this is the only one I know of, and besides the ride looking absolutely gorgeous on the water, it runs considerably faster than any other wave swinger, so it is a pretty good ride. 17 is Tilt-A-Whirl, and yes, this is a regular cylinder Tilt-A-Whirl that you can find at almost every fair and amusement park. But they are fun rides, and if you're lucky, you can get some good spinning on this one. 16 is Brain Drain, a Larson Giant Loop. Now these rides are really common at Six Flags parks, and yes, they're really loud, uncomfortable, repetitive, and marketed as roller coasters, but they are really fun, and you can get some good hang time. But normally I skip it because the line is usually long. 15 is Troika, a Huss Troika, and these rides are also really common, but this one is by far the best one I've been on. The seats are comfortable, the cycle is long, and when it lowers down to the ground and still spins, it feels like you're skiing or something. It's awesome. Number 14 is Accelerator, and this is one of the rides I have yet to get on because sadly it's an upcharge attraction. But I have been on a similar sky coaster that is a bit taller at Funsbuck Kissimmee, and if it's anything like that, the first descent is insanely scary and the first swing following is fun, but definitely not worth the upcharge. 13 is Shipwreck Falls, and this is certainly one of the most famous rides in the park. And it definitely deserves it because it makes this massive splash soaking onlookers and everybody on the boat. The ride itself is pretty short, but the drop and splash are pretty scary. Number 12 is Spider, and I have to be honest, I haven't been on this ride too many times because the capacity is absolutely abysmal, but if you put that aside, this ride is actually awesome. This is probably the only ride where you can get spinning ejector airtime, and it's wonderful. Number 11 is Meow Wolf's Kaleidoscape. Originally, this was a regular Ghost Blasters Dark ride made by Sally Corporation. Then in 2019, Meow Wolf came in and renovated it into Kaleidoscape. And this ride is weird. Basically, you step into this quantum Department of Transportation vehicle and go through space-time. I think it's supposed to tie into the Meow Wolf's conversion station across the road. So yeah, this ride is weird, but it's definitely a must-do at this park. Now into the top 10 we have Tower of Doom. This Intamin giant drop stands 200 feet tall with an amazing view of downtown Denver. Then the subsequent drop is pretty gut-wrenching, but the only problem with this ride is it's insanely short. You only go up and then drop down, but the drop is amazing and the entire experience is awesome. Number 9 is Starflyer, a 170-foot tall fun-time Starflyer. Now this ride is not the tallest of its kind, but it is one of the faster ones I've been on. And like all of the other tall rides in this park, this ride offers a spectacular view. And in my opinion, the view on this ride is the best because it's pretty tall and the ride cycle is long enough for you to enjoy the view. At number 8 we got Disaster Canyon, a Hopkins river raft ride. Now, Intamin usually manufactures this type of ride, and the Intamin version is better most of the time, but this one still is tons of fun and absolutely hilarious watching people get soaked. It also has some very light western theming, so that's nice. Now for number 7 we have Slingshot. Now I have not been on this ride nor a similar ride, but judging by how it looks, this ride looks absolutely insane. Flipping over 216 feet up in the air is absolutely crazy. But sadly I have not been on it yet because it is an upcharge attraction, but I think number 7 is a pretty good place for it. Just outside of the top 5 we have Twister 3 Storm Chaser. On paper, the stats for this ride look pretty good for a wooden coaster, being 100 feet tall and 4,600 feet long. But the problem is that this coaster is not made by an actual roller coaster manufacturer. Instead, it's built by Hensel and Phillips, which were the general contractors that built Elitch Gardens. Which makes some of the transitions a little questionable, and the ride is a little boring, especially with the trim on the second drop. Luckily, it's fairly smooth and the theming is awesome. Sliding into the top 5, we have Mind Racer, the 1997 Vekoma SLC. And if you know anything about roller coasters, you know that the Vekoma SLC is one of the worst coasters ever. Primarily criticized for its rough and uncomfortable ride experience. But I don't think it's as bad as people say, and it actually has some pretty good forces. And even though it runs the older trains with the bad restraints, I still think the restraints are padded enough where you can have an enjoyable experience. And I always say a roller coaster is a roller coaster no matter how bad it is. But I wouldn't blame you if you put this lower on the list. Number 4 is Half Pipe, a Intamin half pipe. Now this coaster has spinning seats which give it some re-rideability, and the ride vehicle looks like a giant skateboard, which is awesome. But just be warned, it can get a little rough and the restraints are hard as a rock. But overall it gives some good forces and airtime. Now for number 3 we have the best flat ride in the park, Hollywood and Vine, a Huss Breakdance 1. And this ride is basically a scrambler on steroids, plus it spins on another axis. Also, the laterals and acceleration are pure bliss, along with the seats and restraints being very comfortable. Overall, a awesome flat ride. And down at number 2, we got Boomerang, a Vekoma Boomerang. Now, these are one of the most cloned coasters in existence, with 53 installations all around the world. And yes, they can make you a little dizzy, and they can be rough sometimes, but they are pretty fun rides. with my favorite elements being the first ascent and fly through the station, and the backwards loop for its intense disorienting experience. Also, myself and many other people say that this is one of the best boomerangs out there because it's fairly smooth and runs pretty fast. So generally, this is the best ride in the park unless number 1 is open, which is Sidewinder, an aero shuttle loop that originally operated at Magic Springs in 1980 before being relocated to the old Elitch Gardens in 1990, then finally being relocated to where it is now in 1995. And even though it's been relocated so many times, it still is the smoothest coaster in the park. And not only is it the smoothest coaster in the park, it's also really rare with only 2 other installations still existing. It's also a really fun ride with a very rare electric winch launch, which isn't really a launch, but still cool. The loop is pretty forceful, but the best part of the ride by far is the backwards airtime off the second launch. But the one thing about this ride is it's barely open, so if you see it open, please ride it. Anyway, that was my whole ranking of every single ride at Elitch Gardens. Wow, that was a very long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys really enjoyed it, I might consider making more of these because it was pretty fun. I definitely won't be making this list for larger parks because some parks have almost 100 rides, which is crazy. I'm looking at you, Europa Park. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe and coaster it. Bye!